Yeah, a lot of people growing up, I used to love the fact that I speak like this. I thought it made me so superior, because like I have a twang, like I roll my R's. That was amazing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. But now that I grow up, as I'm growing up, it makes me sad because I don't think my own language. I barely speak my own. I understand and I can write it, but I I'm so much better at like speaking in English than I am in my own language, and I feel like I'm losing so much of me, my culture, and like where I'm from. And it's quite sad that there was a time where I felt that speaking like this was this amazing thing, and I wanted to keep speaking like this. I wanted to keep rolling my R's and have this white accent. Like when somebody tells me, oh my gosh, you speak so white, oh thank you, like it was a compliment. You're not like the other black people, thank you. Sounds amazing. But now I want, it came from self-hatred, because I want to be like the other black people. I want to speak like the black person. I want to think in my language, and it makes me sad because I think I'm mostly sad for that Sihle that thought that you shouldn't be this Sihle that speaks like a black person. I just want to hold her hand and be like, you can. You can, and you'll do it. Be as black as you want to. Speak as black as you please. Like, that literally shows how close you are to your roots and your people. But it is what it is. We're here now. I mean, we understand now, and I'm holding their hand, and I'm glad. It makes me sad, but also I'm still very young, and I'm glad that I can understand that now and see that like I literally do not have to, conform to all of this shit. There's so much microaggression like in the city, in South Africa in general, and I think one thing that sits with me is the pronunciation of my name. And because my name has a click. So my full name is Sihle. So now my full name is Sihle. But when I introduce myself as Sihle. You will never hear me, like nobody can call me Sipe, because growing up, it wasn't even a thing where nobody asked me permission to shorten my name. Like somebody would ask me, what's your name? Oh, Sihle. Oh, okay, can I just call you Sipe? And like that's just my name. First of all, my name was given to me by my beautiful aunt, because she looked at me and she said, oh, what a beautiful gift. That's what it means. So then now you're going to tell me that like, oh no, I'm just not going to say it. No, say my name, But so that's really something that makes me really angry, because I understand that like our language has a lot of clicks that we understand, but like I did Afrikaans, I did English my whole life. Your culture has been forced on me my whole life. And in our culture, names mean so much. Like they have meaning. We don't give a child a name without meaning. And so there's a click. The click is very hard, Sihle, but a lot of white people and colored people, you grow up in Cape Town. In Cape Town, there's 3 languages. It's Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans. Those are Joburg is a different story. Those are only 3 languages that we speak here. I, as a black person in South Africa, in Cape Town, I have done Afrikaans, I have done English, and it's been forced, not by choice. And that's something that's been forced on me my whole life. But like white people will refuse to even just say your name. Like you can pronounce pizza, but you won't say tepo. You like pizza tepo, chepo. Like it just feels like a status thing. Like you're just trying so hard to not see me. Like when you're just refusing to see me. Like even with European names, like they literally will pronounce all these hard German names with so much care. But when it comes to our names, it's like, can I just call you Sandy? I've been asked if I can be called Sandy, by the way. And this happened when I was doing my vocational work. And then I was like, no, like, I think that's racist. My name is Sihle. And the crazy thing about that situation was everyone, all the men surrounded me and told me how crazy I was to say that situation was racist. So that's the thing, that's the erasure, you know, where just say my name. I'm literally not even asking you to speak isiXhosa, which you should be able to, by the way, because why are you not speaking isiXhosa? It's like you're going out of your way to actually not associate with blackness. But like, I don't have that choice. It's forced on me. Like, I don't have a choice to actually not associate with whiteness. And so those are the microaggressions that you really experience around here in Cape Town, in South Africa. It's very possible to make the change within, like, there's so much divide in Cape Town, and I do think it is possible to bridge that gap between non-black people and black people. And I think, of course, there's the government, where when it comes to the wealth gap and all of that, like, that's a whole different conversation. But I think now, like, in this era that we're in, we're having a lot of conversations. And I think it's very important, like we always say this, like, it's very important for non-black people to recognize their privilege. Because yes, there's not much you can do. Like, you as an individual, change like the Gini, like the difference in wealth in Cape Town, but you as an individual, you can choose to listen. Because for example, I myself can recognize my own privileges, and as a queer, black, female body in this country, one can argue like I'm one of the most privileged people in like this country, but still I can also recognize my privilege when it comes to trans people speaking up. Like, I understand, my privilege. When it comes to people with disabilities speaking up, I can understand that, like, okay, I'm taking a step back. This is their experience. And I think people shouldn't be, I think a lot of non-black people are so defensive with the fact that, like, people are angry at what's going on and people are speaking with so much anger. But that's the thing, you can't expect people to not be angry. You cannot, like, you cannot disadvantage somebody, and like, you can't come to somebody and ruin their life. I'm not saying you ruin their life, and then expect them to be like, no, but you need to respond with grace. Like, I understand that, like, this is a horrible situation for you, but you need to respond with grace, So I think it's in the conversations that we're having, obviously from both sides, because yes, we should not be violent, even us as black people, and in having these conversations. But I think these conversations are very important, and I think they help so much in like letting people understand where other people are coming from. But you need to give that space. You need to understand that, like, okay, I am giving space right now, and I am not here to defend, or sometimes things don't make sense. You're like, I do not understand this experience, but it's not your experience. You didn't walk that walk. We went to the same school, yes, we had the same teacher, but like the microaggression that I experienced from that teacher, the racism, you weren't gonna notice it because it wasn't directed at you. Yes, you didn't see it as a non-black person, but it still happened. And I have every right to be angry about it because you didn't see it. You weren't gonna see it, it wasn't directed at you, So I think people need to understand, we're angry, rightfully so, but we're not we understand, especially people our age, young people, we understand you didn't create these problems. You are not to blame here for what's happening right now, but also you need to be able to give that space to listen to when somebody is speaking and we're having these conversations. So I think that's what we can do, like as the people, and just listen, you know, like engage. We learn so much from engaging each other and like hearing each other's experiences. There's so much we can learn, and every day we're just able to engage without anger or defensiveness. So yeah. Black people don't often speak a lot about the microaggressions that they experience in a lot of spaces, because I think from our parents don't speak up a lot. They teach us not to speak out. I was a problem child in high school, and I'm somebody that, like, if you mess with me, I will check you out. And there was a lot of, I remember an instance where a teacher came to me and told me, took one colored girl and me, and I had braids at the time and my hair was just like loosely tied, and said, look at this girl's hair and then look at your hair. Do you see how neat it is? And then look at your hair right now. There was one black teacher at the time. I looked at him and I was like, are we not gonna defend me right now? He kept quiet, you know? And so, like, that was something that was completely wrong. Of course, I wasn't scared of the woman, and I told her where to get off, because what do you mean? Look at her hair, I have braids on. They have straight hair. Like, how are you comparing my hair and her hair and telling me my hair is, something's wrong with my hair? So I went home, and obviously I was rude. She told me I will never amount to anything because of my attitude. I told her, if amounting into anything is something that looks like you, then I don't want to amount to anything. And then, you know, obviously teachers will tell your mom. And then I tell my mom, this is what happened. And she's like, Sihle, just let it go, you know? Just let it go. And that's the thing, we just let it go. It's fine, you know? So that's the thing with us. It's wrong, and it shouldn't happen. And we just think we should just let to do, they're not supposed to, like, that teacher wasn't supposed to do that right then. And that was my example of, like, a black teacher. He kept quiet. And, you know, for me, I was like, I'm thinking you as a black person, you would defend me, you would speak out about this. But also I think it still goes back to the fear that our parents have of white people, and in that they never felt like they should correct them in what they're doing, like when it's wrong, because it's like, no, they are right. Like, when a white person gives you an instruction, you really will question, like, okay, what are you saying? But when a black, like, it's so easy for my mom to question, like, a black person, let's say for a black cashier, then it is for her to question, like, a white person. Like, it's, yes, thank you, okay, great service, love it. But it's so easy for her to question, like, a black person, like, why are they doing? But that's because we're able to call each other out, but we do not call, you know, white people, because I think she's scared. I think it's something that is ingrained in us. White people are always authority figures. When you think of a boss, it's a white person. When you think of a principal, it's a white man. And when you talk of authority, you don't often question authority. And I think that's the view that, like, a lot of black people have of white people authority. And so it's very hard to question, you know. So you just let it go, and yeah.